Some of us want to learn to handle failing a little bit better. I think that's one skill many of us miss. I just had a very emotional conversation with one level 2 candidate who did not pass. And his comment was, "Sir, you told me once that I was going to become a fund manager," which I did tell him. "I've disappointed you, I've disappointed my parents. Uh, I feel like everything is destroyed." He has an interview tomorrow. He said, "I don't feel like going to the interview." So I feel we give too much importance to the results, right? Pass or fail. And not only exams, but I think everything else in life. You're too obsessed with results. And unfortunately, result is something you can never control. He failed by 5 marks, 2595. Hurts, no? It hurts. It's really bad. Money, efforts, 1 year. Does it mean, I mean, does it really mean you've lost that knowledge? It doesn't. And is CFA your end game in life? You become CFA and you become a really poor, miserable finance guy or a profession who doesn't do anything good. Does it mean you've won the game? You haven't. See, if your total journey is 100 kilometers, passing CFA 3 exams is probably just the first 1 kilometer. Right? If you give so much of importance to results in life with everything, I guess, not just this, anything else. If you're so result obsessed, then you would emotionally you would have a lot of ups and downs all your life because you're so focused on results. I think the focus should be on process, right? So what can you control realistically? Can you control how will I prepare and what kind of efforts I will put in? Or can you control how will the exam be graded? You have absolutely no control on the second. You only have control on what you can do, which is your efforts. Same with stocks. Think about you do a lot of research and you buy a stock and the stock doesn't work. You make losses. Okay, but your process was right. You did put in the time, effort, worked. It's still okay. And in our investment world, your hit ratio will never be 100%. My hit ratio is miserable. But I don't care as long as my hit ratio is more than 50%. As long as hit ratio is more than 50%, your average return will turn out to be reasonably good. Taimur on the chat box is saying, but results determine most of the things. Actually, they don't. Okay, if that were the case, just think about it. And this is the question I asked him. He was crying, so I had to figure out a way to kind of quickly, because I have to come back here and teach. So I had to figure out a way to quickly kind of get him thinking on the right way. Because obviously that time when the way he was crying, I was honestly a little worried, because the way he was crying, it looked like, he might respond to that situation and do something stupid. So I posed him a very simple question. I asked him, were you good at level 1 cons? He's a level 2 candidate. He said yes. So I asked him, okay, tell me what is the pass rate on an average for level 1? He said 40%, level 2 40%, level 3 40%. So then I asked him, what is the probability that you pass all the 3 levels in one attempt? If your passing probability is 40% on an average, law of large numbers, what is the probability you pass level 1 and level 2 and level 3 in one go? 40% into 40% into 40%. That's 7 or 8%. Which means statistically, if we have 200,000 CFA charter holders today globally, I don't know the number, but I'm guessing it's 200, 300,000. Let's say 200,000. If I have 200,000 CFA charter holders globally, only about 14 to 15,000 of them have passed all the 3 levels in the first attempt. 185,000 CFA charter holder, 85% of the charter holders who are out today, who claim that I am a CFA charter holder, they failed at least in one attempt somewhere. Think of those folks, had they thought that I failed, and therefore I'm not cut out for this, or therefore I'm not going to do it, we wouldn't have had so many CFA charter holders and successful ones. So you have to really decide, and you have to decide that now at this stage in your life, because one thing I can give you in writing is all of you are going to fail. All of you are going to fail. If not in exams, you would fail somewhere in life. I mean, find one human being who's been successful in everything that they've done. कहीं ना कुछ करके आप गिरोगे. Now, the question is not whether you'd fail or not. You will fail somewhere, sometime in your life. The question is, how will you handle when you fail? Right? If you can emotionally regulate yourself and handle failures better, not have too much of joy when you win, and not have too much of fear or loss when you lose, and if you can regulate your emotion better, you'd be able to respond to situation a lot more better. Right? Then you wouldn't need to call me and then cry and vent out your emotions, because you'd be, and I'm not blaming him, I'm glad he called me, because otherwise, I don't know, I was honestly very scared. But it's very simple here. Why do we have to be so obsessed with any result anywhere, always in life? Someone is saying paise ke liye bura lagta hai. I agree. When I took level 1, my level 1 fees was 9 months of my salary. I was making 5,000 rupees a month that time. Right? And that was a lot. And I knew that if I don't pass, I'm going back a year back in life. Right? Which obviously was a lot of money. And even financially, my family wasn't doing so well that time. So there was a lot of pressure. But the thing is, you can't control. It might be the most important thing for you, but that result that you get is not in your control. The only thing you control and you should draw satisfaction from is the fact that you're putting in efforts. That's as simple as that. Anyways, have you been to Vipassana meditation? No, I haven't been to. I'd love to go someday though. I have a spiritual friend of sorts. She's the one who's a Vipassana instructor. It's serendipity how I met this person, but she's helped me quite a bit in terms of getting some mental model, and in terms of how to think, how to approach. And I've heard great things about Vipassana, though I haven't been there. Money के लिए बुरा लगता है, failure का नहीं है. हाँ. So now that is another thing. Ask yourself who's paying for your CFA fees, either you or your family, right? If it's you paying for your CFA thing, then just work a little bit more, save more, invest. Education is the best investment of sorts. Even if you just average out, right? Let's say you fail a couple of times in 3 attempts. Okay. Then also your return on investment is going to be phenomenal. How do you know that? I just told you. Your value as an individual financially is present value of future cash flows you're going to make, right? Now, the rate at which I discount your future cash flow is a function of how risky your cash flows are. So if you're a CFA charter holder, kuch na kuch to job mil hi jayega, right? So discount rate comes down, cash flows goes up, your valuation goes up multifold. So if you're parking in 6 lakhs, 10 lakhs, let's say a million rupees, right? If you're parking in some money, but the return that you're getting is multifold. Now, if you feel your family is paying for you, then ask, is that CFA fee going to put financial burden on your family? If yes, don't ask them for money, right? Because that's not your money, it's theirs. Then simply start working, save a little bit, come back. It's that simple.